Welcome to the APL Spotlight series. Lisa Jones in the Wailea area, Maui, Hawaii. What an incredible guest to have on. She'll be episode 71 coming up at the end of May on the regular Angels Positivity and Love show, but I couldn't wait. I had to have her back on for the APL Spotlight series. So here we are in March of 2024. You're going to see her right away this weekend. She is totally talented, gifted, intuitive, helps others unlock their skills. She's had a shared death experience with her husband. She talks about in the show. Don't miss that. She's met Ram Dass. More than that, she's hung out with him, swam with him, or swum with him, whatever the proper English is, and much more. We clicked right away during the last show. And again, I'm just excited to have her on. If anybody can go, and if, forgive the phrase, loosey-goosey today, it's going to be her. So Lisa, aloha. Thank you so much for being on the APL Spotlight series.
Aloha, Michael. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back here with you again. We had such a good time when we taped that episode 71, and I can't wait for all of your viewers to see that because we had some super magic in that one for sure.
Yes. And speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and just take some steps that we usually do at the end of all these shows. I'm not sure people realize that for 12 years now, people have been seeing, hearing, feeling angels, loving guides, figures from India's Native American chiefs, Ram Dass now, many other figures as well. And you can meet a loved one if you can own the first part. And people do this as a group. So this is a real stretch for even the spiritual holistic wellness groups. It's just something no one is accustomed yet to embracing. So picture being a scientist. You can get any answers to any questions, all languages spoken, all dialects. I don't see the question. I don't see the answer. We're about to have some fun. Starting with what I forgot to do in an APL show the other day, forgot to light stage. The one thing I promised to do for every guest, I blow it from Texas right now to Wailea. We've already
Well,
done this in the other show. Are you already?
exactly. I was gonna say, I think even though you forgot to do it physically, you definitely did it in the spiritual world. So not to worry, Michael.
Yeah, there was a guy named Vinny Adams out of the UK, incredibly nice fellow. We had so much fun before and after the taping of the show. I forgot to do anything on the show, and that's okay. But
That's
so
okay.
people get a chance, check out Vinny Adams, such a nice guy. He has just been tapped by Richard Dolan to run a lot of Richard Dolan's online stuff. So it's a big deal.
Wow.
Speaking of big deals, Lisa Jones in
Here
Wailea
we
catching a
go.
little sage. And if you want folks, catch flowers as well, hibiscus, even though you've probably got some within 20 meters of you.
Yeah, but I was gonna say there's just this beautiful rose coming through, which I do not have here generally. So, thank you.
Awesome. And folks, you can
Woo.
play that over again or go to any other show. Lisa, you've had a lot of experiences. What's sort of the highest vibe reminder for us all to kind of keep it simple, keep it real simple? What's your best advice you could give us?
Well, you know what I love, which popped up. We were kind of prepping for the show, and it was, an idea that the angels dropped in, and it's about signs and about knowing and believing what you see and feel. Because I get signs all the time from my passed away loved ones. I mean, I get a dragonfly is my passed away husband, a cardinal is my mom, a little white butterfly is my dad, and the thing is, the key is you have to believe it when you see it. So, you can ask for a sign and then you get it. And most people are like, wow, was that a sign? Yes, it was a sign. Like absorb it, accept it, allow it. And I think that's a big thing is that even though people think it's a sign or they wonder if it's a sign, just go ahead and accept that it is a sign because it takes a lot for our loved ones on the other side to come through and to give us these little reminders that they're still with us. And so the last thing we want to do is insult them and be like, oh, I don't think that was a sign. So I'm curious what your feelings are on the signs because I get them all the time.
Well, I mean, I think it's natural to like question everything and definitely you're going to make them work harder. They're going to have to bring you like 5 more signs, but flip it to trucks. Pretend angels have been trying to get you that message. And every time you hit the traffic light, you're actually thinking so hard, you missed the first 14 trucks. It took 15 trucks before you
Yeah.
finally saw like relax and enjoy life on the side of the truck. And you start laughing at that point. But how many trucks did it take to reach you? You got to just pay
Oh,
attention. Good luck with that.
I love that. And that is hilarious. I almost want to go grab my sign, but I was driving. I was actually in my book, it talks about finding my second husband, which was amazing. Unfortunately, after 11 years, we did get divorced because my spiritual journey just kept taking me further. And we had a very beautiful conscious uncoupling. But I had to drive my car from South Carolina out to California to put it on a ship to come to Maui. And I was in the middle of the country, probably Missouri or something, and I was crying. And I just said, "Oh my God, did I make the right choice?" And I look up in front of me, traffic stops. There's a big box truck, and on the back it says, "The right choice, the best choice." And it was for some sort of potato chip. But I'm telling you, Michael, you could not have made that up. I mean, because I literally use those words, "Dear God, did I make the right choice?" And there it is. You can't get a better sign than that.
I had two of those in very quick 10 seconds each. This is way back, like 2013, 2014, where I was questioning everything. I'm taking photos all the time, but I'm at the same traffic light, actually. Boulder Lane, exiting my Austin area community, Canyon Creek, and the truck in front of me, a pickup truck. I have a photo of this. It says Faith. And I saw that. So that's not a lot. That's okay. It was good. And I'm not huge into that word, except it's faith, religious, non-religious. And so for everybody out there, it doesn't matter which way you roll. It's just letting go, getting out of here to get into your heart. And so again, religious, not religious versions of the same word. It's the same thing. And then the second thing was Rosebud Trail. There was a rental car Mustang, and you often see rental cars be from out of state, except for Hawaii, I'm sure. So it's an Illinois Mustang plate, and it says Rosebud Trail on the plate plastic holder around it. And that's
Okay.
where I'm headed to go see. One of my dad, who passed away in 1970, was a naval aviator, F4 Phantoms, VF-41, the Black Aces. This guy had gotten in touch. He flew with my dad in the late 60s. They flew together. It's a two-seater jet. They had skied together in the Alps. He had gotten in touch, and he was like a local politician type living on Rosebud Trail,
Wow.
just like an extra mile in a little enclave that doesn't count as Austin, but surrounded by Austin. And so here I am, like in the GPS going to Rosebud Trail. I look up, I see that, and there was a reason. This guy had hung out with my dad. There's not a lot of those folks. He was able to tell me about him, stuff like that. Small world.
That's amazing.
Let's do this. I'm going to put up the first angel. Folks at home, I've only got one rule, and that's give yourself a break and ask the universe to step in. It's called setting your intent. So here's actually something you can do. It's my only bit of structure after 12 years. It's this. Hey, angels, get me out of my head, into my heart, make it nice. Amen, rock and roll. Thank you. Just own it. Your internal, fearless, peaceful, inner warrior you. Whatever way is setting your intent, you got to own it, though. Here's joy. People can put their hands out and feel their vibe. Ask for flowers, ask for an ocean breeze. I always say Wailea or Kanapali, but since our guest is actually in Wailea, let's go for Seychelles or Azores or Brazil or some exotic place that you're like, whoa, that's Bali.
Wow,
And you can
beautiful.
hear Bali chimes from a temple if you want, so that you know it can't be like your back door over down the hill there. And people can see light. If you want to let her pulse, you can see that change. I'm going to move the joy name out and bring her in. She is big, like the cosmos. She is the ambassador communicator who allows you to help, or helps you. I'm sorry, not allows, helps you just connect more. So just let go. But if you could you share what you're feeling, Lisa, and then have one, two, or three topics that you're totally familiar with already. Have her tee up the golf balls for you, and you get to do all the swinging and talking from here on out.
Wow. She's just coming through so strongly. I'm like catching my breath here. That wave of energy, I can just feel it going right into my heart. And so yeah, I think talking to angels is a huge topic. That's actually how I got started. I actually went to an angel reader, and my husband had just been diagnosed with cancer, and I went into this little tiny room, and she just immediately said, "Oh my gosh, you're going through a very difficult time, but everything's going to be okay." And something happened. It was like a light switch was turned on within me when that happened, and I just had to figure out how to talk to angels myself. And so I purchased a book about talking to angels, and it changed my life. And a big part of it, like you mentioned, is really dropping out of your head and into your heart, and really allowing and believe that what you're receiving is from the angels. And then over time, you can start getting I mean, I call it the vibrational you can feel it, the vibration coming in, and it's not your words, it's their words. And so yeah, talking to spirit and just knowing that there is a spirit, or there is a world beyond this world that we're in, and it's happening right here, right now, all the time. And it's no different if you think about radio waves, they're coming through. And if we had a radio right here, we could tune it to different stations. Well, it's the same thing. Our loved ones are right there, our angels, our ascended masters, Ram Dass, everyone's right there just waiting for us to be open to allow them to come in to, speak to us and to help us on this journey.
Mm.
So it's been way more fun ever since opening myself to these new vibrations, these new energies. Life has become, instead of a black and white television with like 3 channels, that's what I grew up watching in Colorado. And now, it's like sitting in a surround sound, just IMAX theater, and it's incredible.
How long did it take for you to get 100% comfortable with the concept that, hey, there might be more than my thinking, and the world, the universe is a little bigger than I was expecting? There's a shock factor, ontological shock on the extreme end, but otherwise a little discomfort. But I would say that's all ego, and that's angels who said that, not me. So any discomfort's just ego. But guess what? You're uncomfortable learning how to drive the first time. You're excited at one moment, just uncomfortable in the middle, and then you're so excited. But how long does your excitement last? Look at any 25 to 40-year-old stuck in traffic in LA. They're not worried about like the novelty of driving. They're cursing at the traffic. They're upset. Okay, so how was it for your journey from here to here, and how fast or how slow did it take you on certain fronts to get super comfortable?
Well, I would say, for a long time, I mean, I didn't tell anybody that I was channeling angels. I mean, this was my own, it was like having my own therapist, instead of going out and talking to someone, I would just channel my angels and ask them questions, and they were so helpful. And so it was, and my husband was sick for 7 years. So that was really, it was until the night that he passed, and then I had my out of body experience, which we talk about in episode 61, that, uh, that, um, sorry, was it 71? I forget which one
71.
it
Yeah,
was.
it's good.
71.
We'll
I'm
figure it
sorry. As soon as I know the angels are like, no, 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 71. I'm like, oh, sorry. Anyway, but it was that night that I just had total confidence, because then he started talking to me. So I'm like, oh my God, well, now I can really, hone in on this. But the thing was, and you know what I love about this is what really got me going is somebody was telling me that angels can help you get parking spots. And so once it became a practical matter that I actually got parking spots, I think that is what really led me in down that road to wanting to know more. Because once you start seeing it working in your life in a really tangible way, it's like, whoa, I am hooked, so that there was no turning back after getting these phenomenal, especially I had 2 little babies. I had a 1 and a 3-year-old at the time my husband was first diagnosed. And I'm like, I need a good parking spot so that I'm not having to,
Mm.
lug all these everything around, and make it as simple as possible for me. So I think it's asking for those. And now I ask my angels for everything. That's the other thing. They're there to help us, but unless we ask, unless it's a life or death situation, they can't step in. So even like putting a necklace on, I'll be like, angels, necklace helping angels help me, and boom, I get it done immediately. But if I'm struggling trying to do it myself, it doesn't work. So it's incredible when you release and allow and believe and have them allow them to help you.
Oh, I love it. Okay, next angel is Charlotte. She's everyone's favorite school teacher from childhood, with words meant to help you expand. Think Mrs. Wilson from third grade if you're from Canada, New Zealand, third form. Mrs. Johansson, the nice teacher. Okay, if you want to see her pulse as light in here, people have been doing that the last few months, or I say Charlotte's been doing it. Let her do what she's going to do. I'm going to make Charlotte disappear the name and catch what you can catch.
Oh yeah, sparkles are just flying out through the lens at me right here.
Well, and what's Charlotte got as a reminder for us all that, again, is in line with what you would have already talked about?
Oh my goodness, what does she have to say?
And you can catch a smell too if you want. I don't know what that's going to be. It doesn't feel like it's beach.
Oh yeah, just got Jasmine coming in very strong here. Oh my goodness. Well, she's talking about dreams. That's what's coming up for me right now is our dream time. Like again, so much is going on. We think that I mean, yes, there it's like processing our conscious life during our dream time, but there's so much more going on. I mean, it's really, when we're asleep And I guess, what is it, unconscious? I don't know if we're unconscious when we're sleeping, but it just seems like that's the time that we're really able to leave our body and allow these magical times to come through. And what was so fascinating, I recently took a cruise, and I was out in the middle. I flew to Vancouver and came back to Hawaii. And so we were out in the middle of literally nowhere, right? And I've never slept better in my entire life. And I had the most epic out of body, what is that called, where you know that you're dreaming,
Lucid.
um lucid dreaming. Yeah, so I was lucid dreaming, so I knew I was dreaming, and I could just do anything in my dreams. I could fly, I could drive trucks off cliffs and then fly, and it was so exhilarating. And I feel like the key to that is like getting away from people, getting away from the density of so many people around, because again, and out being out in the middle of the ocean, it was just epic, the amount of lucid dreaming I was able to do while I was crossing it across the Pacific Ocean.
I had a quote that's right to the point you were making, and it's from Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. I'll put up his photo next. Uh,
Right.
he's got a quote that he said in 2020, and he passed over, I think, in 87 or so. This journey is real, more real than the waking dream of your usual life. Pay attention. And I'll
Yes.
argue that the journey is just from here to here, for you to stop looking at your toes, which is the metaphor for thinking, or Plato's cave, or anything else, and just slow way down. The rat race is up here, or all the situations and drama you think you're stuck in, and there's
That's
actually no such thing. Now, good luck believing any of that. That's way
yeah.
too happy-go-lucky, because you got to pay bills, you got kids, you don't understand my problems. I got 19 dogs, and it goes on, a long list. But here's
That's
Chögyam
right.
Trungpa, or Gentle
Ah, there
Frank.
we go.
I once said, because I'm an idiot about this stuff, slow on the uptake, people, even if it seems like I do something. I said to him, whoa, that's a mouthful for a name. Americans aren't going to go for that. What's another name we can call you? Now, that Buddhists would crush me for that one. He said, call me Gentle Frank. So you can try Gentle Frank or Chögyam Trungpa. He's super sweet. If you want
Wow.
to catch a Tibetan breeze through your hair, or something truly sacred, almost an
Mm.
ohm level of vibration, get it?
Hmm.
But he'll remind you of something that, again, is just another one of those talking points for all of us.
Absolutely. The violet flame is just going across his face is what I'm seeing. And talking about the violet flame and allowing that to, use that for purification within your life, and just calling upon that beautiful energy that can just purify us. And whenever, like you said, when your brain is going too fast, when you're stuck with all the bills and the kids and all of that, but just imagining, just closing your eyes for just a moment and just imagining this beautiful violet flame, and just allowing it to just take everything that's not necessary in this moment, because all we have is this time right here, right now. And so if you're allowing your brain to get cluttered and upset and frustrated about all these other things that literally are not happening right now, it's just causing you your own, grief and sorrow. So coming back to that violet flame and just, purifying your mind in that moment.
And if you want, close your eyes with your permission, and just connect to him, and a few others. Have them come in. If you don't mind breathing 3 times, folks at home, you can do this. Just close your eyes, breathe a lot, exhale like a whale if you're still thinking about work, your cousin Vinny, or anything else that's distracting and upsetting. Try to breathe and just fall into your heart, ground in your body. But hear a beautiful mantra come in. And if you could share that, Lisa, when you get it, and if you don't mind showing us what it's like to say that 3 times, and feel a whooshes up and down your spine when you do. So take us through this. This is just a little stop, drop, and roll, whatever they said in the 1950s.
That's right. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it right, but they're telling it's that Om Padme Hum. Do you know what is that
I know
one?
it. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah, I
sophisticated enough
know.
to know it, but I know what you're talking about.
I know, me too. I'm getting that
Uh,
Om Padme Hum. Uh, yeah, wow. And I'm
good,
like, I'm not
good.
quite catching the whole thing.
Well, I'll keep going on the
Okay.
Buddhist, Tibetan, India vein, and
Yes.
I'll bring in a couple more. So let's do Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, the one from 100 years ago. People,
Yes.
you don't have to know what spirituality is. Think you're spiritual. If you're a good athlete, or a good cook, or a good yoga person, or just good at walking, you do power walks every day or hugging your dog. It all is the same. And I don't think people realize it's the level of difficulty of that light switch, flipping it on. You don't agonize about it. You just do it. And that's
That's
all
right.
very Winnie the Pooh stuff.
I
Okay.
love it.
So here's Sai Baba. Let him move, wink, smile, shoulder waggle in the photo, but let him reinforce that mantra. And the more you breathe, folks at home, if you want to 1 millimeter open with your mouth, if you're allowing yourself to be a mouth breather, if you're offended and only nose breathe, do your nose breathing.
Oh yes, getting the winks from him there. That's
And
great.
what else is he adding to the recipe here of
Well, again, he's saying don't worry about the words. That's the other thing, that we get so caught up in the perfect, words, and this is how you have to be. It's the feeling that you want, right? And that you can use any words with that, regardless of what it is, and that's it. Is so many people get stuck in the dogma, whether it's, religion or even the chanting, even the meditations. People get so caught up in the rules. There are no rules. The rules are living in your heart, and love that's it. Like, that's really all there is, and all the rest of the stuff is just, you know distraction.
I love it. And I'll add, I'll tweak the caught up into, you might actually just get really good at it. And you might be a New York Times bestseller at it and even top of your game. Mindfulness, meditation, this, that. There's 3,000 sub-organization or habits that we cultivate. But the deal is the growth and expansion never stop. But good
That's
luck
right.
recognizing when you've kind of peaked.
Yeah.
I never see the professional yoga person or this person or that person. I don't want to pick anything, actually. The Apple person suddenly switched to papaya. And then next thing you know, 3 years later, there's some musicians who do it because they're like, no, I kind of peaked out and I need to keep exploring. You hear
That's
about that.
right.
So with that, I'm going to go to a different India figure. Actually, you know what? We'll do Thich Nhat Hanh.
Okay.
And this is going to be so cliche. I mean, the most cliche is this. The second most cliche is this, but that's what he showed me one time. So with everyone's permission, if you want to do this, feel his
Yes.
vibe come through the screen, and I'll
Mhm.
get me out of the way. And if you want to hear something like music from a Vietnamese temple, incense from a Vietnamese temple, like it's only 10 meters behind you. But what are you feeling on your hand, Lisa? Breathe, 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 everybody at home. Just have fun.
Yeah, I'm just feeling this great warmth right in my hand right here, just going straight into my heart. And it's just, the word is peace, it's really just be at peace with all that is. And again, the more that we can get out of our own way, the better. And it's so easy to say that. I get it, because I mean, fortunately, I'm now at a point in my life, my children are raised, living my dream life here in Maui. And yet, even when I go back to the mainland, I'm just shocked at the congestion of energy and people, and how much is going on, and especially in the media and all of that. And it can just raise everybody's blood pressure to uh beyond healthy limits. And so, what I'm getting from Thich Nhat Hanh is just literally, like, you really have to find your own peace within yourself, because it's not going to find you. It's allowing yourself to um, take time away, even, again, just to turn your phone off and take 5 minutes of slow breathing and allowing that for yourself.
And how do I do this? So finding your own heart, resting there, even if it's just for 2 seconds, good luck. It's like riding an electronic bull or being a rodeo person on
Yeah.
an actual steer or a horse. Um, but that's the name of the game, is living, loving, allowing more. And if you need a way to look at the world that allows you to find, like in politics, California versus Texas, or this versus that, look at it this way. Every single person's doing the best they can out there.
That's
And there's a
right.
lot of different consciousness levels. Compassion's within all. Nothing that I'm saying, by the way, is mine. It's all from angels, or my book, From Angels. So
Yeah.
compassion's within all. I think Plato said this. There's just many different levels of awareness. And so I've never met anybody doing anything who said, I'm purposely going out to waste my energy today. An
That's
ego, a jinn, East Asian mysticism, we'll do him after we do the Divine Mother's tiger next. And Divine Mother, if I can remember, remind me, But the Jinn said ego is a waste of life. Now, the good news is we're all going to waste a lot of life. We're all going to do
That's
thinking
right.
starting in about 1 hour for me. And there's nothing you can do about it. But the day you want to just start practicing sparkling more, connecting to your higher self, your vibe goes out and you're cool. So Lisa, can you add to that just your own version of a reminder that there's nothing to do. Stop the doing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the name of the game, is stop the doing and just be more present, in the moment. And also, but to have fun. We are here in this physical world to experience the physical. And so the other part of that is don't limit yourself. Don't get stuck in a rut of feeling like, well, I have to do this job that I hate because it pays the bills that, I'm now in over my head. It's like, how about stopping and really assessing? If you're hating your job so much, that's a sign that you're on the wrong path, and so get on the right path. And even if that means like looking at your job that you hate, find one thing that you love about it and start focusing on that, because that's going to expand. And I've got chills as I'm saying that, because in every situation that people don't like, there's always something, there's a spark in there that you can find, that you can appreciate. And gratitude, oh my goodness, don't get me started on gratitude, but that is the fastest way to finding your joy, is to really be grateful for what you do have. And and the more that you focus, again, what you focus on expands. So if you hate your job, stop focusing on how much you hate it. But really look for that spark in it that you can appreciate, and then just see how your life expands from there. And it's amazing. I mean, one decision, like my decision to move to Maui, like I thought, everyone's like, my God, how did you do that? It's like, I made the decision, and then the next thing was I booked a plane ticket, and then the next thing was I drove my car across the country, and I made a reservation for my car to go on the boat. Like, it's just a matter of like making phone calls to do anything you want to do.
And without spoiling your episode 71 story about the actual story of letting go of that job, that you had a high powered job. I think it was accounting. I think it was venture capital, right?
Yeah, hedge fund. Yep.
Fun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
good thing you left when you did. And the details are in episode 71. It's May 26th. That's 2024. Please subscribe, comment, like, share. I have people all the time saying they smell sage or get the flowers. I'll go ahead and we'll try to remember Divine Mother, but Tiger next, and maybe a couple
Okay.
angels. At some point, we'll whoosh energy to everybody, even if it's taped. 2027, Lisa's going to whoosh energy. I'm only 6 months into my whooshing. It's called Just Sharing Love. It's not me. It's going to be angels, highest vibe, none of my
I
drama.
love it.
Yeah,
I love
but here's that tiger the Divine Mother's on. I think Durga has one as well. I don't know if it's the same one or not. All I know is this tiger's on your team. More deity, less spirit animal. Totally action. And if anyone wants to put their hand out, feel fine
Woo.
directly.
That is so powerful.
But put the other hand out to the side like you own a 5-foot dog, and you can feel hand down. You can feel the tiger
Yes.
walk under your hand, and you'll feel soft fur.
Yes.
If you want that shampoo feeling, because we just gave him a universal bath. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But you can get the highest vibe from India. And again, he's pure action. So he is on your team.
I love
And
it.
ask about a private situation and get action steps. Now, remember, your thinking is the only thing that can ever get in the way of being in the heart more or holding you back from taking action. And trust me, everything you're doing is thinking. Same thing for me. Just let go, breathe, and hear a whisper or outright from the tiger, a couple steps to take. Lisa, what are you getting from the tiger?
I love it. I love it. What he's telling me is about imagination, and that again, we get way too stuck in the reality of life, and to use our imagination. You remember when you were a kid and you pretended you were Superman or, Wonder Woman, and you could do anything. And that's the whole that's what this beautiful tiger is saying, is just have fun with life. Like, life has gotten way too serious. And the only way that you're going to incorporate some new ideas and some new energy is to have a different way of thinking. And so to get out of your brain and to get into your heart, start using your imagination more and really just touch into that amazing, like you're a kid, like you could do anything. So I love that.
Okay, and I'll add this way. I don't know how to say it exactly right, but if it's words or if it's structure, and unfortunately that applies to a lot of the groups we were referencing. philosophical, religious, this, that, consciousness, this, and they're all great. They have to do what they're doing, the science community. But if it's
Right.
words, it's generally more egoic thinking we can't help ourselves. And that's just the way our human structures work. There's a difference between knowing and continued learning. And an angel named Dale said, very, very few humans appreciate that difference right now. Most of our knowing is the type that precludes possibility. We see it in science all the time. A discovery only lasts 2 years, 2 weeks, 2 days, a new one comes along. The universe is so big and it works in such a cool way that it can just shatter your version of reality and then open up Maui, as Lisa mentioned, moving to Maui. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, leaving room for what we don't know, but what we want to maybe have happen, or being surprised? There's something about that that you can uplift us on.
Yeah, I think the thing is, again, is really opening your heart, because our mind is always, the only thing our mind has is our past. So it's going to keep pulling forward any past experiences and trying to fit whatever's happening in this moment into that. And so that's why you got to let that go and really open and be willing to just imagine like your most, the most amazing experiences, because then your brain actually has something new to go to and start accessing that to bring into your life. So, it's, people, again, I think it's just like getting stuck in the way of, we're all told like work hard and save your money and retire when you're 65, or now it's 75 or whatever. And that, again, that's just an old paradigm that we just need to let go of and just start living your life fully. As I think I mentioned in the episode we did earlier, a lot of the passed away loved ones that come through me, they just said, gosh, I wish I had lived more full out, because I didn't realize how much freedom I really had, but I got stuck in this, with the blinders on. So get those blinders off and start dreaming and imagining, and then watch the universe bring it to you. But you first have to imagine it before you can even, allow. I mean, the universe is just waiting there for you to command it. So if you're not commanding it, you just are in, the same routine. Oh, and this just is popping into my head too, is that miracles do not happen in routine. Like if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you don't have room for routine. So take a detour, go somewhere different today, go meet new people, go say hi to somebody you've never said hi to. I mean, it's the only way that you're going to have new experiences in your life, is if you stop doing the same thing over and over and over.
Now, no one's quite at the Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, Christmas Carol, dental floss level of like reduction in your life force. But I mean, maybe once, hopefully every 10 years at most. But what I was going to say is you also don't even have to know what to ask for. You could be like, guys, this is so new to me. I think I'm out of my league. I don't know if I can, but you know what? I'll take the chance. Permission to my angels, to the universe, sock it to me. I need more joy. I need friendlier people. I need surprises. I'll take a $10 bill on the ground, learn to ask for 100,
Right.
blah, 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 sock it to me. But it might be dream time, or it might be 2 weeks out instead of 2 days. What will you allow for? That's the rub, but that's the opportunity for everybody. Ganesh,
I
for
love it.
you,
Oh my gosh. Ganesh.
catch
Love
Indian
Ganesh.
incense that you're like, whoa, I only would get that if I'm in India.
Woo. Yes, absolutely. Just floating right in here.
And have
Lots
Ganesh
of sparkles.
pile on here about ask, 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 allow, ask, and receive.
That's right. And again, Ganesh is the remover of all obstacles. So again, if you're having problems, if something's not working for you, if you feel stuck, then call on Ganesh to say, please remove these obstacles, show me the way.
For the
And
divine.
another thing,
Oh,
oh, I
yeah.
just want, this is Ganesh is saying, remember that a lot of times though, when you ask for something, it gets more difficult before the thing that you want actually comes in, because the universe is rearranging everything for you. So just be grateful that things are getting more difficult. Like some people are like, oh my God, I hate my job. And then suddenly they get fired and they're like, what? Why did that happen? Oh, well, because you're telling the universe you hate your job. So, that was just giving you an opportunity to go find a new one. But people think they get stuck and then sucked back in to, this kind of negative thinking that, oh, this really bad thing happened. It's like, no, it was a good thing. You just have to go and see what the next step is.
It often takes 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, too, to look back on something and be like, yeah, okay with it. It makes more sense now. At the time, you're
Right.
freaking
Yeah,
out, or, it's your divorcee person, the spouse, whoever. Okay, Quan Yin
absolutely.
is next for some reason. I'll see if I can find somebody else. Here's Quan
Okay.
Yin, it's actual
Oh, yeah.
statue, but it doesn't matter. You can hear her full on come in. For anybody who wants to see light, like sparkles in the air, like it could be rose blossom, pink, red sparkles, like flower
Mm,
petals.
beautiful.
And
Yeah,
just
shimmery,
hear her
shimmery.
reminder, yeah, about compassion or something.
Yes.
What are you getting, Lisa?
Oh my gosh. Well, she's reminding me of that story about it was, let's see if I can get this right. The man and his son, and they didn't have any horses or anything, and then all of a sudden this wild horse came, and his all the neighbors came over and said, "Oh, you're so lucky. Congratulations." And the man said, "Well, maybe so, maybe not." And then the son went out to try to, ride the horse and got thrown off and his leg got broken. And so then all the neighbors came over, "Oh, how terrible. That's awful. That's awful." And the man said, "Well, maybe so, maybe not." And then I guess the army came through the next week and was collecting all the young men that could go and fight in the war, but they didn't take the young man, right? So then the neighbors came back again and said, "Oh, you're so lucky." And so it just goes on and on. That's the thing. Like you said, it's not until retrospect that you can look back and see that maybe this terrible thing that happened was actually a good thing in disguise, but you just can't see it in the moment. So, whatever you're going through, just know that, there is a much bigger plan out there. And just the more that you can, again, just accept and allow what's happening instead of fighting against it, and really trying to ask your angels, what am I being guided to? How can this help me? Show me the higher path of this experience, rather than getting, you know, pulled under, which is kind of our general, human sense of things.
Well, and I've got to mention, I'm a runner, so maybe 200, I doubt 300 races, but something like that under my belt. And so New England, Mid-Atlantic, East Coast, US. There's a guy I used to run with who was like a Zen master. He would always tell me he wouldn't even pick up his medals or his trophies when he finished in his top overall or category. He
Wow.
had a brain tumor, made the Boston Globe over this. They didn't think he was going to live. He did. He wasn't a runner, but when he woke up, it was the day of the Boston Marathon, Boston General. And the bottom line is he promised himself he'd run every day. And what he did was, if you, let's say he and I happen to do well in the same race, he would be like, celebrate for one day and let it go. And
I love it.
Dull Knife, a Native American chief, said something like ego is getting stuck in roles, perceived tasks, failures, and accomplishments. And we get
Mhm.
stuck in that. And it could be a good thing. I mean, you could be holding on to something and think that you need to. NCAA runners later, when they're in their 30s or 40s, are beating themselves up that they can't run as fast as their
That's
university
right.
days. Thinking has a way of taking hold on everything. And the name of the
Mhm.
game is not to think more, but to like breathe more, smile more, allow more, grow your awareness, not your thinking. Again, Angel said all that stuff. It might sound like I'm pithy or know what I'm talking about. I don't. I'm a big
You're
blank.
just allowing it to come through.
Exactly. So here's Claire, an angel who's resilience.
Oh,
And if you
yes.
could get something really funky from her that you're like, wow, that was special.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is remembering that everything in your heart, that's where the action's at, all of it, like a casino.
Hmm.
And we want to
Beautiful.
say gambling is good. So, okay. That's definitely the takeaway today, folks. Okay, what's Claire got for you, Lisa? And for
Well, yeah, and it's funny because it's very apropos to the story you just mentioned, but it's about, I read the story about this woman who she couldn't wait to get on Oprah's favorite things or something like that. I forget what she was selling, but at some point she finally got onto Oprah's favorite things. She even got invited, I guess, to talk to Oprah and stuff. And then when it was all over, it was just like, well, now what? Like I mean, it's like, here we all think of these pinnacle events in our life that we can't wait for it to happen, but then when it happens and it's been complete, then there's just this sense of emptiness again, because we're putting all of our eggs kind of in this, like, the basket of like, oh my God, once that happens, I'll have made it. And there is no making it. People understand there is no making it. There's never an end. we're going to keep going, because even if you are enlightened, it's just gonna, we don't stay generally in that state. And so then there's just more and more and more to be, more enlightenment to be had. So again, just enjoying the moment for what it is, and like you said, celebrate, let it go, and be here now.
There's
Ram
that.
Dass.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll do Ram Dass in a little bit.
We're
There,
still gonna do Divine Mother too, don't forget.
yeah, I'll do Divine Mother. But there's the gymnastics film. It's kind of like a Disney film, but it's not Disney, but it's made that way. It's got Nick Nolte as the gas station attendant, which sounds kind of like weird, except that he's kind of a Mr.
Oh,
Miyagi
okay.
figure. It's like an adult Karate Kid. It's called Peaceful Warrior. Nick Nolte, Amy Smart, Scott Meklowitz. It's Dan Millman's personal story, late 60s, but when they made the film, they made it 2006. It's a modern, it wasn't Berkeley, the campus, but
Right.
it was where it was supposed to be filmed. They filmed it at a different university. It's a very relaxed film. You wouldn't know it's spiritual, but it is. It's very Zen-like as well. And it's exactly what you were just talking about. People have to check it out. It was spot on what you were just talking about.
That
I'm
was
going to put a
great.
Kapuna up from Hawaii, Kapuna Auntie Margaret. She's loving
Okay.
Hawaiian breeze. If anybody wants to go crazy, you're a veteran intuitive, but you can only use your left hand. Your right hand doesn't work. It doesn't work on Tuesdays. Let her light you up so that your hand that you think is like less efficient, let it like fire up. She'll fix anything for you. Nothing needs to be fixed, but she'll help you
Right.
get around your own thinking.
Look at that beautiful smile.
Yep. And here's
Auntie.
some very practical advice coming in. She's just like, bup, 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 bup.
Wow. I mean, it's kind of that, do unto others as you'd like done unto you. I mean, it's just really just, I'm getting very grounded, and, just be love. That's really at the end of the day, is be love, not only to yourself, but to everyone you meet. I mean, again, we're all the same. I mean, it's such a hard concept to understand, but we truly are. We're just different aspects of the oneness. And like you said earlier, people are really doing the best they can. And I truly believe that. And so if there's somebody that's, upsetting you or bugging you or whatever, just to imagine, what it is, whatever happened in their life that created them to be in that way in this moment. There must have been some trauma or something. That's what always helps me come back to, just loving them as honestly as I can, and not judge people, because we've all been through it.
And I've got to say yes to that. I had about 4 different thoughts. I'm looking for the Divine Mother. We're going to have you just close your eyes and have the Divine
Okay.
Mother come in. I had a statue, which isn't even going to be that good compared to, I love how I'm judging everything. But the bottom line is let her come in. People close your eyes and just let light show on your eyelids or feel compassion all around you. And I'm going to quote Mother Teresa super fast while Lisa's just doing her experiencing.
Okay.
Mother Teresa just says, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Mother Teresa's
Exactly.
getting judged hugely these days, like possible child trafficker, all this other stuff. The bottom line is you're not on the other side helping people if you're not reconciled, period. And the bottom line is unconditional love is unconditional love. If you're practicing it, you don't have time for judging.
Hmm.
Which, whoa, go turn on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, or any other channel and last 30 minutes on the news, and then just remember that everyone's doing the best they can, how they know how, consciousness wise. If you start to compare, well, maybe that consciousness level's higher and therefore this is right and that's wrong, lower consciousness level, angels will remind you there's no right or wrong, there's just proper understanding. Again,
I love it.
look, okay, what'd you get from the Divine Mother?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just so basic, it's the judgment comes from not loving ourselves, because we're not reconciled with who we are. And so anytime that we see something that we don't like, it's actually a reflection of something that's not right within our own being. And I mean, I'm channeling this right now because I don't even know what I'm saying, but but wow, that's powerful, So really it's just an opportunity when you see something um that you're not in alignment with, to really see where is that out of alignment within yourself, and then come and reconcile that within you so that you can better understand them just as a different perspective and not a right or wrong situation.
And I love that. And if love's a constant, never left you. That
That's
moment you fell in love, the first 3 days, like driving the car for the first 3 days when you actually got your license, knew what you were doing, not the stick shift stalling out and you were frustrated.
right.
A high vibe. Oh, hello, pointy bird. The world is beautiful. I'm in love. I'm in love doing the Will Ferrell. I don't care who knows it. You're just jumping around, acting like an idiot. That high vibe or the vacation, 40 days in Bora Bora, make it up. That
Yeah.
never left you. You don't have to have an
Right.
external event to have it. Oy vey. What do you do with that? Because it's your responsibility to be able to tap your own violin, harmonica, piano, whatever we're talking about for your harmony. You've got the ability. I got it. You can be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever.
Love it. Woo! I just got chills up and
Yeah.
down my
So
spine,
let's
up and down my spine.
grab
Ah!
Ram Dass, have him come in. If you want to close your eyes, have him squeeze your shoulder and just get a little. This is his, he loved talking about be here right now.
Be here right now. Well, and what he's, what's coming through from him right now is that we are literally walking each other home. I mean, from the moment we arrive, we are on our way to being walked home to the other side. And we just have this short time in between then and now to create the life that we want to have. And so, just knowing that every day is, you never know. And I've had, I just found out a dear friend of mine passed away completely unexpectedly. She ended up having some aneurysm in her brain. She was skiing in Colorado, having the best day of her life. And then boom, it just happened out of nowhere. And, you know, wow, like life is not guaranteed. And so anybody that's complaining about life is not living life. So, so start, enjoying what you've got. And if you're not enjoying it, then figure out what you need to do to change it, because life is short and there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Okay, I'm going to put Lakshmi up in just a second, but let's digress, go in a complete tangent, because by being scrambled a little bit and letting go of the scramble pace, by shaking it up, the ego is it's clever, but it's not smart, or the other way around.
Right.
It can't follow fast movement. It can only know. It wants to do rinse, repeat routine. And as
That's right.
says, yeah, life's a feast, partake. So here's a regular Bic lighter at home. Just say any color you normally see, like white, gold, yellow.
Okay, yes, gold.
Okay, now ask for your crew, angels, the universe, even if you're skeptical or you're a 40-year veteran watching this looking for, I don't know what, whatever you're looking for. Ask for
Yeah.
extra sparkles. Ask for everybody you've seen to add extra light. Lisa, what are you getting on the lighter on top of the normal colors?
Ooh, definitely an overlay of blue there. Beautiful.
Nice. Now there was something I was going to do to all that to shake it up, and I totally had forgotten what it was, because this was the little primer for the
You,
really big letting
you
go.
stick it up.
So let's do this. Can you put your hand off screen up in the air, and can you have it lit up by an angel, by India figures that are unconditional love? When you feel your hand get tingly, do you mind moving it through the air and having them leave light trailing off your finger? Anybody who's super sensitive at home, you might be able to see it on her fingers. I'm not looking your way, Lisa, to give you privacy.
Hey,
And you're
woo.
seeing it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we're officially crazy. For anybody watching this, I'm so sorry that we're going so loopy, but this is pretty. And why don't we do this? I'm gonna put my hand out. Oh no, that's what it was. Put your hand out like you're getting $50. If you don't mind doing this one on screen,
Yes.
and breathe, breathe, breathe. When you hear look down, can you tell us who just showed up as energy in your hand, and then bring him in for a hug? It could be blue, it'll be Charlotte, pink is Joy. Ram Dass will do whatever he's gonna do. A whitish something, who knows?
Oh,
Archangel,
yes. A
yeah.
big pink.
Was it Ram Dass? No.
Yes. Yeah.
He wanted in. Okay, here's Lakshmi for you. Just a reminder again on trusting that your path is always there.
Mhm. Beautiful. And also that lotus is rising from the mud. Ah. So to know that even out of the mud, even out of the muck and the mire of life is this beautiful essence of what we are given, which is this life experience in our heart. And so even in the darkest of days, to know that, there is that beautiful lotus flower that we can, and again, I feel like I'm just talking light, love, and rainbows here, but, after experiencing, I've had a life craziness and a lot of negativity throughout my life. And I feel like finally I've gotten to the point where I can really see through all of that, and to be grateful that I witnessed all that darkness, so that now I truly do live in the light, and I know how to get there and how to be there and how to sustain it.
Hmm.
And that's what I try to help other people do that as well.
So discernment, paying attention. There's a Sherlock Holmes glass that none of us really realize that that's what we're using 99% of the time to play detective when we don't have to try anymore. And instead, you can be more like that one special forces guy out of Predator who stood at the log and listened and looked. I forgot his name. And I forgot that movie. But the point is, he was using his awareness instead to feel
Yes.
in that moment. Now it's a total sci-fi film, so and a lot of violence. So let's ditch that. But you've got more awareness. You're using it all the time, but you give yourself no credit every day for the 4,000 little micro moments, flipping the light switch, just the way you turn on the sink. If you, Thich Nhat Hanh talked about it in Pieces Every Step,
Mm,
everything has a sacred fluidness to it. And if you would only get out of thinking, your heart already is that Jedi. It's already that Buddhist monk, or at least student, or all the above. So appreciate. Speaking of which, Buddha, golden light, golden light, golden light. And that's all I know what to say. But here's Buddha. Go ahead and
oh,
hear some
wow.
music on the air. Golden flecks of light left and right, 2 inches away from your eyes, as if it's snowing golden flecks.
Beautiful.
And yeah, if you don't mind getting a reminder, a mantra, a phrase, something from him to all of us.
Mm. I'm telling you, Ram Dass is like yelling in my ear, "Be here now."
But what does that mean, Lisa? It's really easy to throw colloquial expressions our way. I didn't know how to say that. But
That's right.
so what
That's
does that mean? Because I've seen his Be Here Now. I think it's his Be Here Now book
yeah.
that's been around
He has a
forever.
book.
Yeah. Um,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
that can be intimidating for people because they think other people know something they don't. And how do
Yeah.
we know that how do we take it easy to appreciate? It's like lying in the grass. When was the last
Yeah.
time anybody actually did that? Let the sunlight get here. You fell asleep. You wake
That's
up and
right.
you're like, hello, Mr. Squirrel. Good luck with that.
Exactly. But I guess that's the thing is, the be here now is again letting go of all the craziness in the world, all the things that you think are so important in your life that are driving you in a direction to do something rather than just to be in this moment. And it is cliche, and it is like you know, woo woo, if you want to call it that, because most people in our society are too busy and wrapped up, and they're on their phone or they're watching, videos or television or whatever.
Or they're
And
achieving.
yeah, achieving, they're trying to succeed, they're, all of these things that they're trying to do rather than just to take that moment of being here now and to appreciate all that you have. I mean, again, that appreciation of, what are the appreciation that you're breathing right now, the appreciation that you can see, if you can see, the appreciation that you can walk, if you can walk. I mean, I know people that, have become paralyzed or have lost their vision, and so they no longer can appreciate those things because it's no longer in their life. But those of us that have those things, we take them for granted every day. I mean, like you said, Thich Nhat Hanh is talking about just turning on a light bulb or the sink, and think of what it took to actually have that happen. I love when I have a meal, when I say my prayer, I thank every single hand, everybody's hands that came into putting that whatever I'm eating onto my plate. It's not like I just went to the grocery store and loaded it on my plate. Think of all the people that whatever I purchase had to do to get it to that point where I could purchase it and put it on my plate. I mean, that's it. I mean, it just starts to blow your mind when you start thinking about what is happening to actually allow us to have the comfort that we do in our life right now and to
Hmm.
appreciate that.
And that's like angels too. At a high school, you round the corner and you were meant to hit and walk into this other person who they each had a stack of books. It's like the Reese's peanut butter cup. Your chocolate got in my peanut butter, your peanut butter got in my chocolate. But you round the corner, books go flying everywhere, and you see it in every movie in a high school.
Right.
Scramble to help the other person pick up their books. Now, pretend those two meet, they date, they get married, they live happily ever after. Imagine how many tries, like our truck metaphor, it took to get those two to round the corner. They missed each other a dozen times. There's
That's right.
An angel named John, whose action synchronicity, who grabs other angels to get stuff done. You know, you're supposed
Oh,
to be at the cafe table and you're supposed to meet so and so. And how many times did you have to visit that cafe before the right everything and you weren't shy and you chatted? So here's John. I'm going to use a 1940s actor from England.
okay.
Catch something from an angel named John whose synchronicity
Yeah.
and how there are universal forces in place to help everybody with everything. That's either Abraham Hicks, the alchemist,
Mhm.
Seth, or not Peaceful Warrior, though.
Beautiful.
And what's John have a reminder for like
Well, again, he's just saying, go back to those detours, like follow your intuition, follow that, like just mind spark that it's like, oh, I'm going to go a different way home today, or oh, I'm going to stop at this bookstore that I haven't stopped at before, or just use those because again, we're being whispered to all the time, but 99% of the time we're yeah, over our head, goes right by us. And so listen, feel into, lean into those little ideas that pop into your head and do them. I mean, what do you have to lose? You might run into the love of your life, but if you're just, if your head's down and you're just barreling through your day and not looking up and not, just going out for that mystery. That's what I mean, life is a mystery. It really is. And we're like trying to figure it out. Like, okay, I've got it figured out. No, we don't have it figured out. Like, let go of trying to figure it out and let it unfold for you in this miraculous mystery that it's all supposed to be.
thinking something, thinking anything is the only way you can block this stuff. And we're all professional thinkers at an Olympic level. Yeah, so don't worry about it. You're going to thinking's not going away for any of us. But so here's a quote, and there's trillions of layers of compassion and opening up and letting go and allowing and breathing more. So it doesn't matter when you start, how you start, you're going to lose it again. Just learn to hit the heart button. Red Shirt, a Lakota Sioux chief historical, said, compassion, he said this in 2014, though, compassion is always a bigger perspective and appreciation for what already is. Can you take
Mm.
it from there?
Absolutely. I love this. It was given to me during one of my channelings, but this whole idea that time is on a continuum, is this way, but really everything is happening right here, right now. That's the whole idea, be here now. Because like even our past lives, if you believe in past lives, it's stacked. It's not,
Concurrent. I
right.
love
They're all
that.
current,
Yeah.
right?
It
Isn't
doesn't
that
help
so
us at
cool?
all, except if you do a lot of love in one of them, it bleeds through to the others. That's the best I can.
Totally. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. And so, right. So it's all happening. So that's why, like you can, like when I was in Egypt and I was having these past life memories, it's like, oh, well, that's because it's happening right now, it's a whole different way of thinking. But it really, it's so much fun to when you start imagining that. I mean, that's like I loved as a little girl, I used to think, well, what came before God? Who created God that create? It's like, wow, like just take your mind and let yourself go there because that's when you can start, thinking outside the box because we are all boxed in, very, very well through our societal teachings and things like that.
Steve Martin, LA story. It's actually an angel story if you look closely, even though the sign is just a roadway sign on a freeway and everything else that happens. But there's many miracles in LA story. If Steve Martin can do it, you can do it. I'm going to put Charlotte back up. She's ancient Egypt as well. Let her pulse,
Oh,
let her bring you an ancient Egyptian smell. She might have been Nefertiti bringing compassion to folks back then. And so connect at that level if you don't mind. Close your eyes when you're ready. Catch a very special. The more people breathe through their mouth, the more you'll get more detail, more visual, more auditory, more sensory in the nose. There's a word for that, olfactory.
wow. Yeah. It's
And
taking me right back to the Egypt temple that
good.
we went in. And the minute I walked in, I knew that I had been a alchemist back in that time. And, really I was with the dead and helping uh cure their bodies so that they would, be uh what's that word? Preserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could
And
get to
then
the afterlife without
exactly,
the
exactly.
hubbub.
And exactly. And so it was all the oils and all of that. And it was just again, talk about simultaneous lifetime. Like I walked in there and it was just this like knowledge just started just racing into my brain about that. And so it's pretty fun. I mean, I've traveled all over the world, but Egypt, I had 3 past life spontaneous experiences and it was phenomenal.
She said in 2014, the shift is upon mankind towards compassion and gentleness. Lisa, if I can have you look up, she'll just look at the blue sky somewhere. She'll
Mhm.
do little flecks of blue light. She could be any color. There's 1 million ways for an angel to show. If people at home want to look at their ceiling where it meets the wall, pick one
Yes.
spot. Don't look around. This is the example of getting out of your brain, which wants to look around and nail it. Your brain's going to doubt it. This is a good chance to meet your ego. It'll say, I'm not sure I'm seeing it right or doing it right. The heart goes, ooh, pretty blue sparkles.
Right.
And there's a
Absolutely.
difference to your heart versus ego. Okay, so
Hmm.
did you get it just now? Can you share?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what'd you get?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was just again, being open to the magic because it's there. It's just a matter of whether you want to be open to it or not, you know. And so many of us have been closed down. I mean, from a child, I mean, how many of us had imaginary friends, or you would see angels, or you would, you know, you just knew it, and your family just no, 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 you're making up things. I mean, that's what happened to me because I used to see Indians every night would come to my window, and angels, and actually even ETs would come and try to take me away, and I was just like no, but you know, I was told I was just an over imaginative child, which now I know the real truth.
And for folks at home, you are protected. Just trust in that. Trust that everything is always of the highest intent. If you need to ask your cheerleading squad, angels, other beings of light, your relatives for protection, do it. But just trust more, worry less is my big advice. There is a
Yes.
lot in the universe. You can get caught up looking at all the details. Letting go of the details is that faith concept. Letting go, letting go, letting go, getting to hear. Here's Ananda Mayama from India. Shri, some people say there's a million ways to say her name and a little bunch of combinations, but she's very gentle from India.
Beautiful.
And what are you getting from her? What vibe? What words? Ram Dass
Wow.
was a big fan of hers.
Yeah. Gosh, it like came in so fast that it flew right through my brain. But basically she's saying that again, it's about protection, and that if you're calling in late, nothing less than that can come and disturb you. And so that's the thing, is just to know that your intention is that of love and light. And then there's not, again, yes, there is darkness in the world, but unless you go looking down that road and
Yeah.
like searching for it, it's not gonna, you have, that's our free will, that we do not have to participate with darkness, and you can command it to leave. So if anytime you're ever scared, you can command it to leave.
Hmm.
But that as long as your intention is that of light and love, then nothing lower than that can enter your consciousness,
And
which
let's
I
go
really,
really, yeah, and that was beautiful. Let's go really deep on one little point. How do you know? How do you know you've got the ability? Are you sure? I mean, I'm the 2 years guy. 2 years for me to own what I see every single either guest or person do in 2 seconds. And I was thick as a tree stump for how slow on the absorption front on the front end. And I'm not kidding on the still like that. So how do you know? And I've got an answer for everybody. How do you know a good cup of coffee at that diner? How do you know? Yeah, sip the coffee. You go through a whole pot. You go back and order the brew. What do you call it? The grind, the grinded
right.
version. You purchase it for drinking at home the next day. You're so excited about the new coffee. How do you know any of that? That's the difficulty level. It's not Olympic diving, people. You don't need to
That's
know how to swim. It's just trusting and allowing more. Your heart knows. I'm going to put
that's
a Native American chief because you were mentioning them. Dull knife,
oh
them
yes.
with some humor, like a mountain range. Great sense of humor. Catch a sacred smell coming in. Tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, sage. What are you getting in the air, Lisa? And what is he
Yes.
for us all?
Sweet grass for sure. And he's talking about nature and how important it is to be in nature and really spending time. I mean, that's where our soul can really speak to us, is in nature and in the quietness, and you know, again, getting away from the congestion of, you know, towns and all the people all around. So that's really important.
I'll put up red shirt, gentlest mom in the world, Lakota Sioux chief wearing U.S. presidential medal. What does he have for us as a quick reminder?
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about peace, and again, with your neighbor, and as difficult as a time as, you know, his tribe had, you know, he was able to procure that um that peace and gentleness, and knowing that again, people are doing the best they can.
And that is huge today.
Yes.
I'm about to put Geronimo up, but I'm going to do the older Geronimo. And we're in the time of a lot of thinking and knowing. It doesn't mean you're not 100% correct, but as Ananda Mayama would say, everyone is correct. So
Mhm.
it's like those sine waves that cancel each other out, that anti-noise. I don't even know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about now, but the thing that shuts off the outside noise. We've got them in our earpieces, noise cancellation.
there
Uh,
you go.
and the point is, let's get past the canceling or the noise to the this. Here's
Mhm.
Geronimo for a profound. Geronimo, by the way, is slang. Yeah, nah, duh. Everyone already knows the answer. And those two were formal and proper yes, no. But here's older Geronimo.
Beautiful.
He's like a lightning bolt. What did you get? What are you getting from him?
Yeah, just the wisdom. It's like know that you have the wisdom within and to really tap on that rather than a reactive. He's like, don't react, tap into that wisdom that you have deep within.
Beautiful. Okay. The big J, he is got a great sense of humor. I think this is the
Mm,
Latvian Estonian painting. The one from Heaven is for
right.
Real. So
Beautiful.
people should totally check this out. She's probably 30 now with two PhDs. She's not 14 anymore when she did this.
Probably. Wow. Just amazing.
And what's Jesus
Yeah.
as a reminder for everybody?
Just again, being gentle. There's no need for like stern, aggressive energy, just gentleness coming from a gentle space.
Okay, I already know who's going to come barging in because they got to. But I'm going to ask that Joy be your ambassador on this and just hear that you've got this for the next exercise. I think we've done this either off camera before, but I haven't said what it is yet. You've got her. You've probably got
Okay.
Ram Dass. Who else is yelling me, me, me? Is it Geronimo? Is it Sai Baba? Is it Ananda?
Archangel Michael, actually.
Okay,
Archangel
look
Michael is my big,
Look over
yeah,
my shoulder, but not here. Over the computer, laptop,
yes.
iPhone that you're using. Look at the jungle tree. See all three standing there. And this is going to suck
Right.
to be you, Lisa. You're on live camera, even though we're taped. We're taped. And what are they? You're seeing them. Let me know when you're seeing them, and then get a nice message all three are giving you, and you're going to be able to go on for a little bit here.
Oh boy.
No pressure whatsoever, by the way.
Yeah, no pressure.
Breathe
No
extra.
pressure.
If you want to close your eyes first and lock it in, just have them bring you rose something flowers.
They're
When you're
talking about
ready,
the divine, yeah, they're talking about the divine masculine and to really it's like all right, so this is getting personal here. So for those of us that are in the dating world and looking for that divine masculine, if you're a feminine, and it's just the reverse if you're, a man looking for a woman, but that it's really about being okay and owning it within you before you can then connect to that perfect divine masculine outside of you. You need to like love yourself and love that masculine aspect of yourself before you can then meet that um, and that energy on the outside of you. And yeah, so they're saying that they're here walking me through that and with that and for that. So I appreciate that.
that's nice. Okay, and somehow this connects to the ocean. So I'm going to put my guardian angel photo up now. She and Charlotte are metallic balls of light on my book cover. There's no one way with these photos, and you can just see directly or see some light here. This is Min, the only complicated name out of 175 names. Min, like Minnesota.
Right.
I'm not going to explain the rest. So just call her Min, and she's a soft spoken professor. She's light waves of energy in water. But somehow
Mm,
she's got a metaphor about the ocean tying into exactly what you were talking about.
mm.
And if not, just catch the ocean wherever you are, and you're going to make sense of this, Lisa, one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, again, with the energy of the ocean, there's both the masculine and the feminine energy that's within in the water, and it comes and goes. And some days it's calm and very feminine, and then other days it's can be raging and have much more power. And we just had that experience here at my beach. Like literally for 3 weeks, we had straight masculine energy that took all the sand. We literally had no sand at our beach. And now today, I mean, it is one of the whitest, most beautiful beaches that I've experienced since I've been here, in the 7 years.
Does the
And so,
sand come back? Is what
oh
happens?
yeah. Yeah, the sand came back, but my goodness, it's just a beautiful metaphor for, you know, how the yin and the yang, and that comes in and goes out, and it all works together at the end of the day. But you got to love both. You know, you can't, if you only loved one of them, then you don't get the other aspect of it. So it's about loving both sides of it.
Okay, final angel, which is probably not true, but I'll try. Lucy, who's patience. And a reminder that patience is part of everything. Your journey from the head to the heart that could take 3 lifetimes, 3 years, 30 years.
Right.
We're awfully pesky up here. We resist to no end on every front, but the heart is ready to go on everything. Try sushi tonight, by the way. Go to your favorite place. If you don't know one, just be guided.
I love it. And
And
really,
what's
it's
Lucy got?
about patience. Yeah, it's about patience, and not, there is no rushing this journey, you know, and that's it. Like everybody wants it now, wants it now, wants it now. Again, it's that instant gratification that our society is so all about, you know, and especially in the advertising industry, you know, it's just like pressuring people to do this now. And it's like, just take a breath and slow down. And the more that you can be just present in the moment and be patient for these amazing gifts and opportunities to come your way, the faster they're going to show up. But it's almost like the faster you're trying to get them, the further you're pushing them away. It's almost like this repulsion in the energy. So it's slowing down, allowing, being gentle. I love the themes that we've talked about throughout this whole episode. You know, it's
So
being
the
here now.
slower you
Living
go, the
now.
faster you go.
That's right.
I love it.
Absolutely.
So my
Absolutely.
guardian angel, I'd had her up a couple before, had just said, respect the path then and now, which means
Oh,
nothing was an accident, no matter how ugly it was or how mishaps, or you're like, but my bank account, but this, but you
right.
don't understand. My problem is, my situation is, my drama is,
Yeah.
I'm the only one that can appreciate it. All the stuff, but I'm right. And all those people in that other state, blue or red state, are completely crazy. So there's
Not
just, look,
so
are
much.
you practicing love? Probably not. Look, none of us are running around as saints. So
We
we
can all
got
do
room.
better. That's right. We
Yeah, we got
always room for improvement.
exactly. Okay. Why don't you take us through a final couple things that are a good reminder for us, and we'll wrap this up. But take us wherever you want on this, and also give us some way to. All your details will be below the video. Plus, there's episode 71 coming out May 26th, and the regular Angels Positivity and Love series. You've had an amazing path. I know that it's been detailed, and it's this, that, valleys, mountaintops, everything in between.
That's right.
Now it's easier for you to give us some takeaways. Why don't you give us a few takeaways?
Well, an interesting one recently that I did, I actually took a grief workshop through hospice. I'm a hospice volunteer, which I really enjoy sitting with people near the end of their lives. And it's just the most gratifying experience, which I know most people are like, death, I don't want to sit and talk about that or even experience it or, you know, witness it. However, during this grief workshop, we were supposed to take an episode in our life and kind of work through it, you know? And it was fascinating for me because I was adopted as a baby. And as a child, I mean, talk about knowing, because God, and I used to talk to God all the time as a 4-year-old and just had a direct communication. And in fact, I even told my mom who adopted me, I said, well, this was God's plan. You couldn't have a baby, so another mom had to have me so I could be your child. And it was just like, I mean, the wisdom in that, right? The absolute pure love in that was beautiful. But then over the years, obviously, just the trauma and my own I don't know, angst about, which I didn't even realize till I was much older, about not having my birth mother as my mother or whatever. But anyway, during this whole time, I did the workshop and worked a lot on it. And I actually ended up doing some paintings, which was really amazing. And realizing that when I was in utero, I had a lot of trauma because my birth mom, it was 1966, when it was not okay to be pregnant and not married, you know. So she had shame and guilt and, you know, embarrassment. She had to hide me. I mean, it was like secret. And so I was like in utero having this trauma experience. And so that's really what I think I've been working on. So after I did all this, I was in a situation where I was really I was wanting to connect with somebody that just was not working. And I said, I just can't even be this person's friend anymore if they don't want to, you know, connect. at a deeper level. And God literally said to me, oh, so you're going to look through that adoption lens again and decide that this person's not giving you the love that you want to validate you. Is that really the choice, or can you love them for the person that they are and know that you are love, that you don't need anyone outside of you to love you and to validate you? And I'm telling you, Michael, my heart chakra burst open, and I just felt like I was being fed by God himself. And I mean, for probably 20 minutes, I just had this energy just enter into my heart. And I realized, wow, I have been looking through this lens my entire life, just needing the validation from outside of me to know that I am enough. And then when God said that to me, it just blew me open. And so that's what I'm hoping that anyone listening to this right now can know, that you are enough. You don't need anyone outside of you to validate you or to give you love or to show you or prove anything to you, because God and the universe loves you for who you are, and it's all within. And so the more that you can use that as your nourishment and use that as your mana to then give back out. I've got chills up and down my arms and legs right now talking about this, which is truth. That you can then, you have everything you need to give. You don't need anything to fill you up, because you are filled up already with all this beautiful love.
I love it. And we're back to, let's say, politics, red, blue, and all the rest. If you're feeling strong judgment on others, and you're absolutely correct, try to remember that there's still a compassionate view. You're not saying robbing banks is okay. You're not endorsing, you don't have to hang out with folks that you might be whatever about. It's just there's a broader perspective that allows support and love to be extended. Indirectly, I think I had a guest last year say something like, don't necessarily pray directly for the person. That sometimes can be off kilter a little. Send it to their angels. They'll know how to distribute it to the person if you want to go gung-ho on that, sending love and light to someone. And I thought that was an amazing concept, because
Yes.
you don't know which way it's supposed to work. And like, let the universe just do its job. Get out of your head, get into your heart.
Absolutely. And another thing I want to add to that was, what you focus on expands. And so when you're focusing on what you don't like, guess what? It just gets more and more. And so instead of, being against somebody about their beliefs or what they're doing, allow yourself to just be more of what you are for. A friend of mine told me this experience that, that I guess she was in a Uber or something, and the Uber driver just kept going on and on about how much he hated a particular candidate. And, he was trying to get her to agree with him. And she just said, well, I understand what you don't want, but what do you want? Tell me what you do want. That's what I want to be in the support of, And so then it kind of shook his mind, because he didn't realize that all he was doing was, talking about, and again, what you don't want. I love this one too. Children jumping on a bed, and you say, don't jump on the bed. All they hear is jump on the bed, jump on the bed. So the universe doesn't hear not, it doesn't get the negative. So whatever you're against and you're pounding for, all it does is expand your voice into the universe for more of what you don't want.
And speaking of which, he practiced a lot of love, if I understand
There you
correctly.
go.
But he'll give us all a quick reminder: Martin Luther King, MLK, and a
Love it.
to close out the show with Lisa Jones in Maui, Wailea area. What's Martin Luther
Fantastic.
King have for us for a reminder about love?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think we started with that quote as well, but we're rounding it up with that. Nobody wants to be judged. Nobody wants to be told they're wrong. And, so the best we can do is just really love one another. It's so funny. I've got a rock wall right in front of me, part of my house, and there's literally that tiger in the rock. It's just coming out. I'm like, whoa.
And I've got it right here. This is an excerpt out of Listening to Angels, written in 2014. I saw Balls of Light. It's Angels. There's no way I wrote this. Anyone who thinks I wrote it, thank you. Amazon, you can find it. The greatest gift is allowing. And this is all angels talking. The greatest gift is allowing, with a capital A. All is growth and change. This is frightening for some. There's nothing to do here. Slow down the doing. Instead, breathe, smile, and relax. Appreciate all. Compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. Regard others as yourself, generously and without fixation. Believe in all. It is much simpler than people think. Again, this is because it's not about thinking, but less thinking. Open yourself up to life. Speak with us, talking about angels, speak with them, and be.
Love it. That is beautiful. Awesome.
Lisa, thank you so much for coming on this. I have a feeling we're going to find a way to do this again. So, I mean,
I
it's
love it.
um,
Yeah, and if people want to check me out, I'm at Being of Love and Light. Now I can't even remember my
I've
own
got it.
website.
Beingofloveandlight.com. I've got your
Thank you.
back. And you also have a book, The Art of Living Happy. It's after the loss of a loved one is the second part of the title, but you can
Right.
just find Lisa Jones on Amazon in a heartbeat. You also were the Exploring Death podcast show host. It was, I think, radio on the mainland, California.
Yeah, it was well, I was Star 99.9. I was the Monday morning medium in Connecticut. Yeah, just
Oh,
outside New York. I was drive time. Oh my God, we had so much fun. The two DJs and I, one of course was the skeptic, and then the other was all about it. And so we'd bring in callers and I'd do readings, and we just had a blast on that show. But then later I had my own podcast called Exploring Death, where I interviewed nearly 100 near-death experiencers, because it took me a long time. I didn't realize my out of death experience, which we talk about on show 71, that it was so similar to a near death experience, but mine's really called a shared death experience. And since then, they've done a lot more study on that. And a lot of people have those experiences, and then nobody knows quite what to do with it because it's not really talked about very much. But mine have been profound, as we discussed, both with my first husband and my mom, my dad, and my Ram Dass, and even my dog. I had a really amazing experience when my dog passed. So it's incredible.
Well, mahalo, and thank you for everything you do for folks. Thank you for sharing so much. One final mantra. Can we have you either make it up or listen, or both? This
Oh
is
my
your higher
goodness.
self coming through. It's so simple. What's the final bit of advice?
Say to yourself, I am love. Very simple.
I love it. Okay,
I am
Lisa
love.
Jones, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Michael. What a blast. I always loved chatting with you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Aloha.